Hey guys, it's Rebecca from Mama Bear Custom Wreaths, and welcome to my channel, Mama Bear Custom Wreaths, where I make wreaths and all things home decor, and I show you how I do it all. So today we're gonna be making a spring wreath, but we're not gonna use a base. No bases today. We're gonna use this little cute straw hat. I got this from the Dollar Tree store, and we're gonna use some pink and yellow tulips and some pretty ribbon. And we're gonna use zip ties to get everything on to our hat wreath. All right, let's get started. So I have 2 bunches of our tulips, of our smaller tulips, and then I have 1 bunch of the yellow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut our tulips, and I'm going to cut them at the base so that they're long. I've gone to the gym a couple times and I think I'm strong enough to cut 2 at the same time. I'm not. Okay, so let's cut all the way to the bottom so that we have some long stems. I'm not sure how long they're going to need to be, but I like to cut longer because I can always cut shorter, but I can't regrow the plastic. So these are our little bunches, okay? And we cut some of the yellow ones. Again, cut them from the very bottom. If we need them shorter, we can just cut them later. I've separated my 2 sets of tulips, and I'm gonna put you guys on the bird's eye view so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so I have separated our tulips here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our hat, and we're gonna just get an idea where we want to place our tulips. So I'm gonna just start layering them. Like so. I like the way that that looks for the top. And then the bottom, just gonna do the same thing and layer our tulips. Now they're obviously gonna move, they're not gonna stay precisely like this, but this just gives us an idea of the space that we want. Okay, so I like the way that that looks. It's not too big for the hat, it's not overpowering. It looks just really nice. Okay. So now we're going to very carefully grab all of our stems, and see, some are a little too short. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a zip tie and tie our stems here closer to the top portion of our bouquet here. There's 1, and then we're gonna tie the bottom part and we have, looks like a flower bone. And let's cut off that there. Okay, so this is what we have thus far. Before we add our florals, my glue gun is now finally hot. we're gonna add some ribbon around this part of our hat. And I'm gonna use this yellow. I'm gonna cut with my ribbon scissors. Please do not use regular scissors. Use scissors specifically just to use on ribbon. Fabric scissors, I do have a link that you can get some. They're inexpensive, but your designs will thank you. Okay, so we're just gonna basically, you can see it this way. I'm just gonna put it around like this. And to do that, I'm just gonna get some glue. And just put some hot glue right there. Now the glue, because this is silk, or I'm not sure what the material is, it feels like silk, is going to show if you put too much. So I don't want to put that much glue. Now right here, it's going to be covered by our florals, so I'm okay with putting a lot of glue on this part. But as I go around it, I'm going to put less and less glue. So that's what it's looking like right now. Okay, so let's just put glue in different areas of our hat. It doesn't need to have glue in every single area. Every few inches, we can put some glue. That's what it looks like so far. Got some on the back of the hat on my finger. And we're gonna put some more. And then just work our way around. Now I would not use very thick ribbon to do this part because it's going to take away from our florals if we have a giant ribbon. So that's why I chose a very thin, kind of muted color, just a nothing bold and bright for this design because of the look that I want to give my hat wreath. I didn't take that flower off because I was afraid it was going to rip the hat. So just left it there. And I'm going to cut the ribbon right there. So that's sweet. That's what our hat looks like so far. Okay guys, so this is where we're going to want to put our florals. We are going to stick our zip tie right next to about where we want this zip tie, which is here. So I'm going to just poke through our hat. So we go towards on the other side. And then I'm going to go, oh, I'm going to take this off too. Did not see that in there. I'm crazy like that. I even do it to the mattresses. All right, now let's just measure one more time. Yeah, this one right above the ribbon is where I'm going to poke it through again. So it's gonna go right above where the ribbon is. Poke that through there. So now it looks like this. Okay, so that's one. I'm gonna get another zip tie. And I'm gonna want the other one right about here. So I'm gonna go ahead and poke through our hat, just like I did with the other one. And we're gonna, again, poke through up right above where the ribbon ends. So it looks like this now. Okay. So far so good, huh? So now, this is how I want my flowers to be placed. And I'm just gonna secure them on there. I'm not gonna tighten it all the way just yet. Make double sure it looks or how I want it to, and I do. Okay, and now I'm gonna secure it. And we're gonna cut off our excess tail here. And that's what our wreath looks like. So let's put a pretty bow right there. Get our ribbon scissors. Okay, so zip ties are our friend with this ribbon. I mean with this wreath. So I have these pretty flowers. This has butterflies. It has yellow and pink. I like this color. Now this has been cut, so let's cut this, smooth our edges. Now we have a nice crisp, clean cut. And let's scoot this down here. I'm gonna make my tails longer because I'm not really sure how long I want them. So let's just make them a little bit longer and we can cut them later because we don't want to compete with our florals. So I may make them a lot shorter, I don't know yet. Okay, so I'm gonna try to show you how to make a bow from this angle. I do have other tutorials that have making a bow. I need to make one that's specifically just making a bow, but this is not the best bow making tutorial because it's a hat tutorial. You have to check out I'll actually link it, my bow making tutorials. Okay, so I'm going to pinch it here because this is my tail, and I'm going to measure how big I want my loop. Now, the size of your loop is up to you. Do you like big loops? Do you like small loops? That is completely up to you. There is no wrong and there is no right. So keeping in mind that since we have a hat, we have this portion here, I probably am not going to make the loops on this one so big. So I pinched where the tail is. You saw that that's where how big I want my loop. So I'm going to pinch the end of that and join it together. Okay, and then I have a squid. I am going to get my ribbon from the back, to the front. I'm gonna measure. Ooh, that's a really big loop. I'm gonna measure my loops, my rabbit ears. Doesn't this feel like you're learning how to tie your shoelaces again? That's how I feel learning how to make hand bows is. It's like learning how to tie your shoelaces all over again. The measure are Goldie loops. Not Goldilocks, Goldie loops. I want a loop that's not too big, not too small, but just right. And I'm actually going to do 4 loops. So this would have been what it looks like if I was just gonna do 2 loops, but I'm gonna do 4. So the tail is no longer a tail. I'm now going to go from the front to the back, and I'm going to make a loop that looks about the same size. And now, this is a tail here. We're gonna go from the back to the front to make our 4th loop. And we're gonna pinch it. And we're gonna eyeball it first. That's still too big. When I mean too big, I mean too big relative to the other loops. Like I said, the size of your loops, the size of your tails, the length of, it's all up to you. There is no right or wrong way. Don't let anybody snarky tell you otherwise. Okay, so I like that. Now we're gonna turn our tails. I'm gonna still pinch this, and I'm going to cut my ribbon. Now let's take the next color we're going to use. So we're gonna get our yellow ribbon. And this is 1.5 inch length. Like I said, I'm making my tails long because I don't know what size I'm gonna want them in the end. You guys have seen the final product. I have not. So I'm gonna make the loop in the front a little bit smaller than the loop in the back so that you can see the ribbon from the loop behind you, or behind that one. And then we're going to pinch it. Loops look about equal. Okay, so this would have been my tail now. I'm going to bring it from the back to the front and just eyeball my loop, pinch it at the center. Okay, now I'm going to take this ribbon and go from the back to the front. Measure my loop, not measure it, but just eyeball my loop. That looks about equal. And then we have our tail. Keep pinching that. And then I'm gonna cut my tail. So far, this is what our bow looks like. Okay, now we're gonna add our pink tails. So we're gonna do our tail. I'm going to pinch my tail. Make a loop. I may just only make 2 loops of the pink. Not sure yet. And then go from the back to the front. And that so far is our bow. Let's pinch that so I can cut my tails. I'm going to get a zip tie. Now, I'm gonna make sure that my ribbon is laying flat, kind of like a sandwich or like a AAA or quesadilla. We want our ribbons to be flat so that you see that we don't want that. We're going to make sure our ribbon is flat, especially the ones in the front, so that our loops look nice and pretty. Now you want to make sure and measure the loops are the size that you want in the beginning, because right now you really can't change those loop sizes without having to start all over. Okay, so we're going to take our zip tie. This is a zip tie wreath. And squeeze that. And then put it through. Again, just double check before we squeeze everything. See, this ribbon looks a little bit longer. I'm glad I caught that. Okay, now we're gonna cut this. And we'll fluff out our ribbon later after we put it in. But I want my bow right about right there. And I kind of want it sideways a bit. So I don't want it flat like this because then it's just gonna compete with my tulips. So I want it a little sideways so that you can see the tails, see the bow, but still see an angle like this. And by we, I meant me. I am going to now put our zip tie in to secure it, but because now this part can be seen, see these little hooks here are gonna be covered by the bow. Now there's nothing to cover the bow, so we're gonna actually do it from the inside out. So I'm gonna make it an angle. So I'm gonna want it like this. So I'm going to put in my first, I'm gonna enter the zip tie, put in my first hole right up here. Okay, and then I am going to use the one right next to this one here so that it's at an angle. So I'm going to put my bow right where I want it. I have an idea where I'm going to tie it now. Okay. And I'm gonna put it right where I told you I was gonna put it. And before I secure it, does it make sense right there? Yes, it does. Okay. So now I'm gonna secure it. Turn it in here. Okay. Secure that. And then cut it. Now let's fluff out our ribbon. Just give our ribbon some love. This is wired. Oh, we're gonna cut this part, remember? Just curl our ribbon. And I did have a little flower. Oops. I did have a little tulip that I can put right there in the center. What do you guys think? Yep. So we're basically just going to put hot glue right where we want it. And that's our hat. Let me put you facing forward so you guys can see us with the ribbon extended. Look at how pretty, how delicate this floral hat wreath came out. I am in love. I love that. I love the bow. I love just the colors, the pink. I love pink. But pink and yellow just looks so cute. It just yells spring. This could be like a little girl's in a little girl's room as well. I love it. It's go on your door, inside your home. Super cute, super fun. And we didn't use any glue, so we didn't burn ourselves on this tutorial, on this project. I constantly burn myself. I didn't burn myself because we used zip ties. I think we just used a flower because we use glue just to put a flower back on. But other than that, you don't need glue for this. Just have plenty of zip ties. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please hit that subscribe button. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the tutorial. Check out some of my other content. I'm going to put links below to other videos and to some of the material that I used. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.